Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're cracking open a really interesting business document.
Yeah, this one's got layers.
It's the Prosper Shield 360 Service Agreement. It's between RealSpace, Digital, let's call them RSD. They do media production, funnels, that sort of thing, and their sales partner, Prosper.
Right.
And what's fascinating is how it's framed. The executive summary, it doesn't just say service contract, no. It calls it a self-perpetuating engine of trust, referrals, and repeat business.
Quite the claim.
Exactly. So our mission today is to see if that, high-level marketing pitch actually holds up when you look at the details. Because RSD is saying media is this conversion engine.
Mm-hmm.
But the fine print, well, it kind of suggests it might also be a very carefully designed but maybe ultimately disposable layer, like insulation.
And that's the tension, isn't it? That's why this deep dive is, I think, so useful for you listening. We're really looking at a strategy doc that's, well, it's cleverly packaging risk mitigation as marketing.
Okay, so where should we focus?
I think three key areas. First, what's the real strategic value of the media stuff they deliver? Do the numbers back up the cost?
Got it.
Second, the practical side, pricing, logistics, especially those location rules, they're pretty strict.
Okay.
And third, maybe the most important bit, the specific rules, like written in stone, about who gets paid first if the project budget gets tight, whose commission is protected.
Right. Okay, let's start with the engine itself then, this Prosper Shield 360 service. If it's this self-running machine, what are the actual parts? What's RSD building?
Okay, so the package is really designed for maximum psychological impact and social proof. That's key.
How so?
It starts with the flashy stuff, a cinematic highlight video. Often you get a drone overview too. Very dramatic. That's designed to be the emotional hook,
Catches the eye. And then comes the practical tool, the interactive 3D virtual tour. That's for engagement, right? Keeping people looking longer.
Precisely. And then to turn that interest into actual action, they bring in the trust element. That's the homeowner testimonial clip.
Ah, the social proof.
Exactly. It's not just showing the place. It's someone real saying, yeah, this process, this team, they were great. That's powerful. Yeah. And all this content gets pulled together onto a branded tour portal. Think of it like a mini website, a 204/7 digital showroom just for that one property. And of course, a custom booking call to action. Make it easy to take the next step.
I also noticed the physical part. It's not all digital. The agreement specifically mentions placing a yard sign on site, like the same day they do the scan or video shoot.
Yes.
And that immediately activates the funnel. So it's connecting the real world to the digital follow-up right away.
It's that immediate link, physical anchor, digital activation. Yeah. And this whole media mix, it's not just guesswork. The agreement actually includes some pretty powerful internal data to justify why they use this specific combination.
Like what?
Well, they claim buyers and renters engage 3 to 4 times longer with this kind of interactive media compared to, just static pictures or basic info.
Wow, 3 to 4 times longer. That's significant engagement.
It is. But here's the number that really jumps out. The one that kind of justifies the premium price tag. They claim video tours drive 403% more inquiries than just photos alone.
403%. Okay, that's the engine they're talking about, financially speaking.
That's the potential ROI right there. And then you add their claim that funnels using testimonials boost overall conversions by 34%. Put it all together, and they're basically selling guaranteed attention and trust, not just pretty videos.
That's the value proposition.
That's it.
And they seem to get that speed matters in sales. The timeline mentioned, it seems pretty quick.
Yeah, they promise the full package, the digital showroom, all the media assets delivered within 3 to 4 weeks after the shoot.
Okay, 3 to 4 weeks. Why that time frame?
Well, it's strategic, I think. It ensures the fancy media gets out there while the client's excitement and trust in the sales partner in Prosper is still really high. You strike while the iron's hot.
Makes sense. Keep the momentum.
But there's a catch. They build in a constraint right away, those funnel pages. They're custom built for each property.
Right.
Which means they have a hard limit on how many they can produce. Production slots are limited.
Wait, so they're limiting their own capacity on purpose? That sounds counterintuitive if you want to grow fast.
Maybe, but it's likely a strategic choice. They're choosing quality and that high-touch, custom feel over just churning out volume. It suggests, for you listening, that maintaining their brand and the quality of that engine is maybe more important than just scaling up production numbers instantly.
Interesting. Quality control over immediate expansion. Okay, that sets us up nicely for the practical stuff. Let's talk money, location, rules of engagement. the packages and pricing.
Right. So it's structured geographically, mostly for efficiency, it seems. Two main tiers. Tier 1 is the starter package, you could say.
Okay.
Testimonial clip, the drone highlight video, and that booking funnel page. That costs $4,450, but only for what they call DMV local projects. So DC, Maryland, Virginia.
Local focus for the base tier.
Wow.
And tier 2, the
Yeah.
full experience.
That's the full Prosper Shield 360 experience. Includes everything from Tier 1, plus that really valuable interactive 360 virtual tour. Price goes up to $1,700. And this one is aimed more at their broader East Coast projects.
Got it. $1,450 local, $1,700 for the full package, potentially further afield.
But that Tier 2 structure leads us to a really critical operational rule. The location and batching policy.
Batching.
Yes. If a project is outside the DMV area, they explicitly state they won't schedule it until they have 2 or more appointments booked in the same general region.
So they bundle trips. That's purely about travel efficiency, I assume.
Almost certainly. Think about the cost of sending a crew out for just one $1,700 job versus 2.
But doesn't that mean a client outside DC might have to wait? What if they're the only one ready to go in their area? You could lose that business, couldn't you?
Absolutely. It's a risk. A calculated one, though. They're basically betting against, margin collapse from inefficient travel. They'd rather have one profitable trip doing 2 jobs for $3,400 total than 2 separate trips that might barely break even after travel time and costs. It's pure margin protection built into the logistics.
Protecting the profit on each deployment makes sense from their side. And speaking of protection, what about getting paid? When does RSD actually start the work?
The trigger. This is crucial. The agreement is very clear, very strict on this. Production dates, scheduling the crew, none of that gets locked in until the client's commission payout is confirmed at what they call milestone 2, or M2.
M2. So Prosper and the sales team have to get their main commission payment confirmed first.
Correct. Think of M2 confirmation as the green light. If M2 is paid, it signals the core commissions for the sales side are secure. Only then does RSD commit resources to production.
So, rule number 1, secure the sales commissions. Rule number 2, build the media funnel. It's explicitly designed to avoid situations where RSD does the work and then the deal falls apart or commissions get clawed back later, right?
Exactly. It completely removes the risk for RSD of investing time, travel, and production costs before the project's financial foundation. The sales commission is solid. No risk of working for free if something goes wrong with the main deal later.
Okay, so M2 is the tactical trigger. What about keeping the partnership going long term? Are there incentives for Prosper?
Oh, yes. If M2 is the trigger, the loyalty benefits section is like the strategic glue holding it all together. The agreement talks about giving Prosper owners lasting value beyond each project.
And how do they do that? The benefits look pretty significant.
They are. It effectively turns Prosper, the sales partner, into an ongoing referral channel for RSD. Owners get a 10% revenue share on any other RSD service that gets sold because of these Prosper Shield 360 campaigns.
Wow, 10% rev share, that could add up. Passive income?
It could. But notice the little detail. That revenue share isn't paid immediately. It's payable 6 months after the referred sale officially closes.
6 months delay. Why?
Standard practice, really. It protects RSD. It gives them a 6-month window to make sure that new client relationship is stable, that the sale sticks before they pay out the referral commission. It hedges against, quick churn or buyer's remorse on the referred deal.
Smart. Risk mitigation again? Anything else?
Yep. There's also a 3% direct lane bonuses.
Yeah.
That's paid on any new service business that comes directly from people clicking through the funnels or seeing the media, or just direct referrals generated by that specific Prosper Shield campaign. So 2 different ways to earn ongoing commission.
Different tiers based on how the lead came in. Interesting.
And they add a community angle, too. Every $250,000 in sales triggers a raffle. One Prosper family gets a full year of electricity paid for. It's a nice touch, good for morale, good PR.
Okay, let's switch to the legal nuts and bolts. Content ownership, always a potential sticking point. How does this agreement handle who owns the photos, the videos, the scans?
The terms here are, let's say, rigid, very clear. All the content, the images, scans, videos, everything RSD creates remains the sole property of RSD until they receive final payment, period.
RSD owns it until the bill is fully paid. Makes sense.
It's their leverage. And even after the client pays up, they don't get full, unrestricted ownership.
What do they get?
They receive a non-exclusive, non-transferable commercial license. Basically, permission to use the specific things they paid for their business purposes, but it's not exclusive.
Meaning RSD can still use it too.
Exactly. RSD keeps perpetual rights to use the completed work, the videos, the tours in their own portfolio for their marketing, unless the client specifically opts out in writing, which most probably don't.
Why is that important for RSD?
Because their portfolio of successful projects, those shiny case studies, that's their main sales tool for attracting new clients. They need to be able to show off their work.
Got it. And revisions. Do clients get endless changes?
No way. Standard practice here, too. 2 rounds of revisions are included in the price. Anything beyond that, billed at $125 an hour. Keep scope creep in check.
Okay, standard but firm. Now this brings us to what feels like the real heart of this agreement, the part that shows where the priorities truly lie, the commission protection framework.
Yes, this is the core of the strategy, I think. It's the contract's insurance policy, basically. Designed explicitly to protect everyone's earnings, especially the commissions, from things like margin collapse, scheduling problems, unexpected risks that pop up late in the game.
Right, and it spells out the triggers pretty clearly. What are the main risks that activate this protection?
The agreement lists 4 main scenarios, essentially. First is unexpected high costs. Materials, labor, maybe some unforeseen regulatory thing pops up, and suddenly the project's profit margin is threatened.
Okay, cost overruns. Makes sense.
Second, pretty straightforward. Client non-payment or significant delays in payment if the money flow for the whole project gets shaky.
Right, jeopardizes everything.
Third is about job timing and travel viability. Remember that batching rule. If, say, one of the batch jobs cancels, making the trip suddenly unprofitable for RSD, or if scheduling gets so complex it means losing other business, that can trigger the protection.
So logistical or opportunity cost issues.
Exactly. And fourth, they explicitly call out clawback risks. Anything that might reduce or even take back commissions that were already thought to be earned. This shows just how focused they are on protecting that sales income stream.
We've seen it happen, clearly. So when one of these triggers gets pulled, what actually happens? What's the adjustment mechanism?
This is where the hierarchy becomes crystal clear. Any available project funds get reallocated. And the first priority for those funds is to cover the commissions owed to Prosper and the individual sales reps.
Before anything else.
Before any other discretionary spending, yes.
Yeah.
The survival of the sales team's income comes first. That's the absolute top priority written into the contract.
That really tells you everything, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. The commission stability is prioritized over delivering the media service itself. And this is why the contract gives the parties the option, the right, really, to just remove the Prosper Shield 360 services entirely from the project.
Just drop it.
Yes, without liability, if keeping it significantly harms the project margins. Provided, of course, RSD hasn't already started or been paid for the media work specifically.
So the media package, the conversion engine, becomes the sacrificial part. It's the buffer zone to protect the core commissions.
Precisely. It's valuable, it drives leads, yes, but push comes to shove, it's the layer they can remove to ensure the sales team gets paid. And they even quantify this.
Oh.
They include this very specific, very telling commission safeguard rule of thumb.
Okay, what's the rule?
It states that sales representatives should not receive less than $750 each on any given project.
A $750 floor per rep.
Yes. It's not some random number. It's clearly a calculated minimum threshold. It basically guarantees that if a project hits turbulence and costs start spiraling, they will jettison the $1,700 media package before they let the sales reps commission drop below that $750 mark.
So the media service cost is directly compared against that minimum sales commission. It protects the rep's incentive, their morale, the viability of the sales structure itself.
Exactly. The structure protects the sales function over the ancillary service, no matter how valuable that service might seem in the marketing.
So, okay, wrapping this up. After digging into the Prosper Shield 360 service agreement, the big takeaway seems pretty clear. It's presented as this high-tech media solution. But it's really a brilliantly engineered partnership agreement where the media is, yes, a valuable asset, but the whole structure is fundamentally designed with safeguards to make sure that core sales revenue, the commission, is protected above all else.
Absolutely. The document talks a big game about media being a conversion engine, but structurally. It treats that media service as, well, an effective but ultimately dispensable layer. It's secondary to protecting the commission. If you have to choose between the drone video and paying the sales rep their minimum, the contract says pay the rep.
Which leaves us with a really interesting question for you, the listener, to think about.
Yeah, how does knowing that a partnership might have this kind of clear, written down minimum commission threshold, like that $750 rule we discussed, how might that change your strategic thinking when you're deciding which high-value services to bundle into a complex project, or maybe which ones you might have to sacrifice if things get tight?
Where do you draw the line between the core income you absolutely must protect and the valuable but maybe optional add-ons?
Something to chew on until our next deep dive.